Alex, transfer news. We've got a bit of extra information on the West Ham United, James Ward-Prowse, Southampton situation. What is it?
Yeah, it was a bit like the transfer hokey-cokey last night. 1 minute West Ham were in, then they were out again. We understand they are still in, although only just. A bid of around £30 million has been tabled. It's a second offer from West Ham to Southampton, and they've been given 24 hours as of yesterday, so by the close of play today, to accept or reject this offer before West Ham walk away and start pursuing new targets. We believe they're pursuing new targets already. Possibility of a player from abroad discussing personal terms today. That may well be Dennis Zakaria at Juventus, who was on loan at Chelsea last season. It seems that he's as close as anybody to joining West Ham. From what I'm told, speaking to people at Southampton, that £30 million bid will not be enough to get James Ward-Prowse. We expect it to be rejected. And if West Ham are true to their words, then that will end their interest in the England midfielder. Wow.
I mean, judging from what Alex says there, that will be it. West Ham will walk away. Would they be right to walk away, Danny? Ward-Prowse, do you go to 30 and no more than 30 million?
I would probably, it depends what other irons they've got in the fire. But Ward-Prowse, for me, is someone who I would push the boat out for if I was West Ham and pay a little bit more. Even if you get up to 35 and you're 5 away from what Southampton are claiming they want 40. Is that right?
Yeah, I think 40 would do it.
Because what you get with him, he knows the Premier League, proven. His discipline and work ethic is exactly what Moyes loves. You know, very, very good at that job in the middle of the park in terms of his defensive work. He's been a captain for a couple of years, got good leadership qualities, and probably the most important thing, Jim, is when you look at the percentage of goals that West Ham score from set plays, their percentage of goals, compared to other teams, you have to think that that's going to go up if Ward-Prowse is taking them.
Yeah.
Therefore, he becomes much more important to West Ham than he would be to another team because West Ham are so reliant on set plays.
Yeah.
So for me, look, you got more money than you probably thought you would for Rice. You know, right, over 100 million for Rice is great business. He's a brilliant player, don't get me wrong. But so if you have to pay 10 million more for Ward-Prowse, pay it. Get him in the door, get the fans on side, and then you can go and tweak whether you can. Then you're in a better place negotiating for Zakaria, whether it be Paulinho, whoever it may be. Then at least you've got one through the door.
I agree, Danny. I agree, but I think Sullivan's acutely aware that they have a lot of money, West Ham, at this moment, and other clubs
taking the
to whom
mic
he's going to, are saying, no, you can pay it. We know you can pay it. Pay a bit more. Pay a bit more. But as far as we gather, they'll walk away in 24 hours. If it's a no to 30 million, they'll walk away.
Yeah, and we might even get confirmation throughout the course of the morning as to
whether
that bid has been rejected.
I think he's 29.
Yeah, you call that the peak of his career. I was going to
28.
ask you, if you were James Ward-Prowse, by the way, bearing in mind there's a European Championship at the end of the season, he missed out on a place in the World Cup squad, he missed out on a place in the previous Euros as well. If you're James Ward-Prowse, he's a Southampton captain, he's been there since he was a kid. Should he be pushing for this move? Because he's not going to be picked, is he, by Gareth Southgate?
Do you know what?
If he's in the Championship?
I'm in the grey area on this one because I don't know how much love he's got for the club in terms of being there from a kid. If it's
he's
the
their
team,
top earner as well.
If it's the team he supported. The other thing is his financial situation. You know, if West Ham are saying we'll double your wages, for example, I'm not saying they are, but let's say that's a monumental change, and he's nearing the end. It's his last big contract, and Southampton aren't going to be able to match that from the Championship, and also there's no guarantee of coming back up.
Right.
So it's a really big decision for him if he does get the opportunity to make the decision.
Yeah.
I think personally, I'd probably want to stay in the Premier League at 29, and you know, I'm that's where you want to be. And although it would be a wrench to leave the club you love, your football comes first. And playing in the Championship for Ward-Prowse ain't going to be a bed of roses.
Yeah, have you got concerns about West Ham at all going into this new season, Danny? And away from the field of play, online last night, you probably saw it, Alex, some West Ham fans taking to social media saying, pay the goddamn money, you've got it. We got 100 plus for Rice, stop paying it.
Well, I think Ward-Prowse is an argument to say just push you a bit more and get it done.
Yeah.
I'm not worried for West Ham in terms of a relegation battle. I don't think they'll be anywhere near where they were last season. I think some of the players they brought in have settled. Paqueta being one, one. He was tremendous near the end of the season. I think the big difference this one with the West Ham fans, the reason not to panic is the money's there, so the players will be coming in. I think in previous seasons, West Ham fans have been worrying, are we going to sign anyone? Are we going to spend money? But they are going to. They're just being cute because they've got this money burning a hole in the pocket.
That's right.
And therefore, some of these clubs are taking the Michael. So it will go to the last week. West Ham.
Shouldn't they have got these deals done earlier, though? Because everybody knew that Declan Rice was going to go to Arsenal. We knew from about February that he was going to go to Arsenal.
It's not the way it works. I've had this conversation with a couple of chief execs in the past saying, why'd you leave it so? I remember speaking to Alistair at Fulham about this, and he explained it to me. And, it's a domino effect. You want one player, or maybe you've got a choice of two, but the club won't let them go until they know they can get their man in to replace that one for X amount of money.
That's right.
So it's just a constant merry-go-round.
I agree, Danny. It can change like that as well, Alex. By the close of play today, West Ham might have 2 new players. Ward-Prowse might be one of them. I mean, it can change like the wind. We literally watch every waking hour to see what development there is. But I wouldn't put it past Sullivan on this occasion to say, no, 30 means 30. And I'm not shelling out anything more. And Southampton might just sit tight.
I think they will sit tight. I think they will sit tight.
The other thing with this as well is that you have to remember is that West Ham will be very aware, talking to Ward-Prowse's agent, if any other clubs are interested. If they are the only takers, they're in a good position.
I don't get the impression there is a massive market for Ward-Prowse.
Which is a surprise, really. Or maybe it's his age.
Difficult one for Russell Martin, though. They're live on talkSPORT on Friday. They go to Sheffield Wednesday. On paper, you'd say they've got a great chance to make a positive start to the season, but you've got Liverpool pushing for Romeo Lavia. You've got Newcastle who still want to sign Livramento. You've got the Ward-Prowse situation. You've got Shay Adams, who I know has got a number of Premier League clubs chasing him. He's into the last year of his contract. How does Russell Martin manage this situation, knowing he's got a cluster of players who probably won't be there come the end of the window?
Well, however he manages it, I don't really want to hear him moaning about it, because when you took the job, have the conversation.
Yes.
This is what's going to happen. We're in a position where we're going to be a bit all over the place in August, because we're going to have a lot of our players who are being sought after, and it's going to go to the end. So we're going to have a changing squad, evolving squad, and you're going to have to deal with it. Ask the question. If you're not comfortable with it, why take the job?
Exactly.
Because it was inevitable.
Yes.
So I don't really want to hear the moaning. You got to get on.
I don't think he has moaned, to be fair. But I'm
not moaning.
I'm just
wrong
wondering
word.
what their dressing room would be like. Just on West Ham.
I like him. I'm not criticising. What I'm saying is I did hear him say something the other day where he's like, well, I don't even know what team I'm at. But you know what? You knew that.
Yeah, knuckle down.
Yeah.
But you look at West Ham start to the season. They go to Bournemouth on the opening day, Chelsea at home, Brighton away, difficult couple of fixtures, then Luton, then they've got Man City and Liverpool back-to-back. It's not the easiest start to the season. And I do wonder, bearing in mind that we've spoken a lot about the rift, if you like, between David Moyes and the new sporting director. He's only got a year left on his contract. Do you fear for David Moyes if they make a poor start to the season, if they don't get the signings over the line?
Yeah, always, because he was under pressure last season till they won the European trophy. So, yeah, he's always, unfortunately for Moyes, and a bit undeserved in some respects, I think he's always on that periphery of, being criticised and having the fans turn because of where they've been and their poor season in the Premier League last year. Ultimately, the same applies this season as it did last. If Moyes is in charge at West Ham, they aren't going down.
Okay, yeah. Isn't it funny, though? Before a ball is even kicked in anger, we're talking about Moyes maybe being under pressure sooner than later. And the last time we heard from Sullivan on this very show, he was like, he's won a European trophy. He's there as long as he wants to be. We shall see.